So, welcome back, ladies and gents, to the WoT Pro League Season 3, Matchday 7. If I can talk, it's, I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm finding it hard to say words. Maybe the germs are getting to me. I'm surrounded by 2 sick people, which I'm not appreciating. But anyway, the germs aside, we have an incredible game coming up next. It'll be Playing Ducks up against Kazna crew. So, community teams fairly favored within the community, but currently, Playing Ducks, previously more WoT, are actually sitting in 3rd position at the moment. So they're certainly doing their work. They're certainly looking good this season. And it's going to be a hard one to call. Quickly, where's your money?
Kazna.
Kazna, okay. Lower on the league, but he's got faith. So let's throw you back over to Melly to tell you how you can get involved and where you can get your predictions through towards as well. Because obviously it's not just for free. There's bonus codes up for grabs and a hell of a lot of cool stuff ready and waiting for you guys at home. So Melly, how can the people at home get involved?
Pretty easy.
That's what I like to hear.
It's easy. Head over to facebook.com/WoT Pro League and I will post, well, when you see this, I already posted a link where you can vote for your favorite team or for your favorite team on the matchup, and leave a comment in the comment function below where you predict the exact outcome of that very match. And if you guess right and get lucky, you might win a bonus code. It's pretty easy to get involved, so head over there, check it out, and be part of it. The other chance is to be rewarded as one of the 3 tweets of the day, and all you have to do for that is just tweeting something nice. Yeah, please. We have enough mean things here happening in the studio.
Tell me what she's talking about. Nope.
Tweet
nice.
something nice, exactly. If it's your predictions or how you feel about the match. The chat loved Applewow's action in the second map.
I don't blame them. It was incredible. That 1v3.
It went completely nuts.
Every single map had like a clutch moment like that. The first map, Himmelsdorf, like it coming down to seconds on the cap point. Absolutely brilliant. Like throughout that game, certainly worth watching on the replay. Like I kid you not, I can't believe it. But anyway, so you've heard from Melly there how you guys can get involved and how you guys at home can get your predictions through to us here in the studio and get yourself a chance for getting some bonus codes. So it's pretty easy all in all. And also just being nice on Twitter. I find that quite difficult myself. I'm not normally the kindest person on Twitter, but you know, I might make a bit of a change. Just, you know, tweet away saying, God, Ollie, you seem great today.
Oh,
really well done.
That would be really nice.
I think I might have to do
the hateful stuff I get usually.
Don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, Ollie's feelings aside, bless him. He's a sensitive man. Let's look at the 2 teams head-to-head here, because these 2, they are community favourites. You probably know them by now, but take me through it. Because obviously Playing Ducks, new title, new organisation. Any changes that you want to be looking at here, or is it just, you know, same old, still strong?
I think Playing Ducks is pretty much the same as we saw last season, same lineup, same core at least, and with Seek being the team leader, and QQ is probably their 2nd best player. We saw Aluz also coming out big in the last time we watched these guys, like huge. He was absolutely amazing, and we were saying, okay, more WoT now. Playing Ducks don't have that standout player, but I think we can safely say that he is now a winner. And just completely blows away the other opposition if he gets the chance. And for Kazna crew, we've obviously got Still Mojo, the team leader. We got Runes, joined them for Season 2, and now Crooks for Season 3. And obviously Hyber, well, pretty much the shot caller for Kazna crew, one of their best players as well, such a good T69 guy. And Dark Dawn plays the IS3. Jagera, Pilauda plays the T69. He is such a good T69 player. He's really amazing how consistent he is with that tank. So just great to see that consistency coming through with Kazna crew, and I think that's generally where they're a bit stronger than Playing Ducks. Just they can bring everything together on every single map, which is amazing. So those are our 2 teams, and pretty similar in terms of skill, pretty similar in terms of synergy and team coordination. I think what Playing Ducks has a little bit is just a passion. Like these guys didn't do so well in Season 2, but going into Season 3, they just want the wins. They just love it, and I think they're an example to all the other Pro League teams how much passion and dedication can really carry you through the games, and it's really going to come out here.
Yeah, and even though they had a shaky performance in Season 2, let's kind of recap how they did there as well, because I think it was on Playday 2, they won against Kazna crew. Now it's a 3-1. That was when they started off really well. They had that enthusiasm, as you said. But then Kazna Crew got really good towards the later half of the actual season itself. They really started picking up games that, previous records would have stated were impossible. And it switched around. So Kazna Crew turned it back round to 3-1. So all even, all square through Season 2. One picking up one map, it was one game. And then obviously the other team picking up one game as well. So it'll still be a chance to prove who's come out better in Season 3. Performance to this point, I've got to give it to, well, more WoT previously or Playing Ducks now. They've been looking so good. As you said, that passion just shining through. They look so into this season. I cannot knock them at all. So hopefully they will get the tank picking underway quickly. But let me get your thoughts towards this. Who do you think's going to get this? You gave it to Kazna Crew, but what do you think's kind of scoreline we're going for here?
I think it's going to be another close one. We've seen that pretty consistently throughout the season.
Yep.
But Kazna Crew went 4-0 against Odemortis in their previous matchday 6.
Yep.
And obviously Odemortis were previously #1. So they've been playing extremely well of late. And now we're going towards the middle of the season, that middle third. I think Kazna Crew, unfortunately, despite the passion of playing Ducks, have the edge.
Okay. So, I don't know. I'm not sure if I agree with you on that yet. But, yeah, take us through the tank picks. They are getting that one underway. But for me, it's just the fact that Kazna Crew 1-2, lost 2, whereas Playing Ducks have actually got, they're positive in their matches at the moment. But still, what do you think we're going to see here on Himmelsdorf?
So we got the T1s coming out and the 250-100s from Kazna Crew and more WoT. And then it's going to be the T1 and the IS3. So standard picks from the start of these two teams, going to pretty much play the same tanks, I imagine, as Virtus Pro and Team Dignitas in the previous match we saw, and AMX 5100 and IS3 coming out from Kazna as well. So I think we're going to see either the double AMX 5100 and the triple IS3, or the vice versa, 3 AMX 5100, 2 IS3s. Maybe a Persian come in, although it's not been picked that much on Himmelsdorf. I think it's more going towards Prokhorovkas and steps, as that's been proven by Sich. He's picking the 5100 and the IS3. Last pick for Kazna is going to be that MX 5100, and just looking towards more WoT to pick their last tank, which could be something unusual. This is usually where they do it, but it won't be. It'll be the 5100. So both teams going for the triple 5100, the double IS3, and those 2 T1. So a lot of firepower. Slightly more tricky to play because you have to consider that 50-second reload on the 5100.
Right.
But certainly more ability just to get those shots down, and thus the damage down when it comes to an offensive action.
So, with this map, it's Himmelsdorf. Who's going to be the winner on this one?
Kazna.
Kazna on this for you. I'm going to back Playing Ducks now. I like the way they play.
Yeah.
I like the passion behind them. I'm going to give them the edge in this. Hopefully, we can find out on the first map, which will be Himmelsdorf.
Himmelsdorf is the city maps of city maps. It's a small one, being 600 by 600 meters. There are 3 routes of attack: the hill, the banana, and the train side. The middle area is relatively easy to push, however can end up in disaster as you can be flanked from every side. The road, often called banana, allows for direct head-on assaults but requires a lot of resources. Both the railroad area and the road next to it are good routes of attack, being very open and straight. However, for those very same reasons, you can be easily caught out and taken down. The map features many densely housed areas, which provides good places for engagements and routes of attack. Teams must be aware of the various routes their opponents can take through the map, as well as the hull-down positions enemies can take throughout the entire map. The trick with Himmelsdorf is to catch an enemy tank unsupported by his teammates and then use that advantage to collapse on the entire enemy team.
Alrighty, folks, let's get into this one. It will be Himmelsdorf, as we said. And in the north, in that golden yellow, it is Playing Ducks, tagged up, obviously, as more DE at the moment. But they'll be facing off against Kazna Crew, Ollie's favourite. So what are we seeing so far here?
So pretty standard start for Kazna Crew. Runes and Still Mojo, the 5100 played by Runes, and the IS3 played by Still Mojo, going towards the banana or the 8 line. It depends what you prefer to call it. Dark Dawn obviously play in the middle location with his IS3, and Hyber and Veko, as well as Pelauda in that T1, playing towards the left of the map, and the other T1 going up the hill. That will be Cobra Leone. And on the side of Playing Ducks, they're definitely more centered towards the train line, which is also a standard start from the north. All their tanks pretty much taking a bit of a gamble, pushing straight up across. They could get sniped down. It's very easy along that straight line. But I think we're going to see some offensive action straight away. This team which you rightly pointed out, are definitely probably the stronger team on Himmelsdorf. They have that consistency on the map. They always seem to win it regardless of the other team, you know, what the other team is in terms of status, and also wins on Himmelsdorf. But also Dark Dawn and Still Mojo, as well as Runes taking up the back, pushing that 8 line as well. So these two teams have literally passed each other on either side of the map.
Yeah, but let's keep our eyes back towards this railroad right now, because Veko has spotted down Wu and Loser. And now the back 3 players for Kazna Crew are going to need to land these shots, because these guys aren't stopping. QQ and Siege now joining in with those IS-3s who are at the front, using obviously the armor that is just so awesome on those IS-3s. No shots connecting until now. Veko down to 8-5-3. Gonna have to play more passively. Back away, allow time for the rest of his team to react to the situation. But where do you think more WoT are gonna go from here?
I think they're just going to go on forwards. They're definitely committed too much now, and they've kind of caught Kazna Crew with their pants down. Most of their firepower over towards the 8 line. That's going to be hard for them to retreat. But they're doing it pretty well so far, with Veko and Hyber retreating back to Runes, Dark Dawn, and Still Mojo. And I think the idea of Kazna Crew is just to go towards the base, try and get the capture underway before Playing Ducks can do that themselves.
Yeah, indeed. They've left Hyber in more of a defensive position. More have got themselves to the cap point quicker, essentially. Kazna Crew obviously being the ones to come back round into this. And let's see if they can actually get this one going. They're going to have those 3 tanks in there. QQ, Wu, and I believe, yeah, a Loser as well. So, first kill does go to more WoT. That 5100 finding Polluter, but now they need to find that reply. Kazna Crew needs to stop this. I think Veko's going to be the one pushing him first, but we know that Hyber's not too far away as well. So these 2 players need to stop this. 14 seconds. There we go. There's the reset. Now Kazna Crew will have the advantage of that clock ticking so quickly. It's literally blow for blow right now. Hyber does manage to reset it again. Kazna Crew are actually going to be able to do this if they don't find a reply from more WoT. Loser going low, gets taken down by Hyber. 19 seconds on the board. You can see the fire is going back and forth between these two. My word, it's so close. Still Mojo getting destroyed by Siege there. And now the clock does kind of swing back in favor to more WoT in my eyes, because now Scarring can push forward, take down Hyber, which he's doing right now. 226 left towards him. Scarring landing a killing blow there, but 10 seconds now being left towards Kazna Crew to just lock this one down. Do you think they've got the tanks in the right position to do this? Ayo, the only T1 close enough, is going to have to reset this one, but I don't think there's time. My word, they've actually done it. They turned it around in the last second. Kazna Crew just... I don't know how they managed to get that there. No reply coming in from more DE or Playing Ducks as they're now called. They seemingly dealt with the situation perfectly by the... Well, more played it perfectly by the opposing's flag cap. So they did their job, but they left no one back there to deal with, obviously, the counterplay. If you know that Hyber is there and you've taken him down, you're exchanging, surely you're going, okay, where's the other 3 players?
Yeah, I mean, Runes was there to try and deal with one AMX 5100 which tried to go back, but he just...
He did 307 damage.
Yeah, but I mean, one AMX 5100 against all that firepower from Kazna Crew, he just didn't stand a chance. Nope. All they had to do really was send one tank off to kill it, which they did. It went down pretty quickly, and then more Planet Key. Well, now Playing Ducks, excuse me, but they played it pretty well at the beginning, but it was a bit of an obvious play from them, like pushing up that 2-3 line and getting spotted pretty early on allowed Kazna Crew to push forward into the base.
Right.
But I don't think what they didn't take into consideration was the fact that Still Mojo and Hyber, as well as Runes in the background, were quite so far forwards on the 8 line. They didn't expect them to get to the base so quickly and get the cap underway so quickly. I think they expected them to try and do the base defense if they were in the normal positions, but that was, once again, you know, like WoT Pro, not playing with the information you need. You always need to get that information. You need to know where the T1s are, or at least take them down. You need to where the 5100s are, the IS3s, and then push forwards. Not just pushing...
Go straight in.
Exactly, not just go straight in and just hope for the best.
A little bit of foreplay helps, eh?
Exactly.
But anyway, we are going to be looking towards the second map. It will be Prokhorovka. Currently, Kazna Crew did pick that one up. Really close moments on that cap point. Literally, both teams were like neck to neck on that ticking down, as you guys saw. So in the last second, though, Kazna Crew just about held on there. They had good defensive play. They had great offensive play, good balance. And I feel as though every time I watch them play, I kind of like to point out the fact that these guys do manage to find that right balance. Now, when Kazna Crew are good, they have that balance. When they're bad, they lose it. They either have, you know, that really good balance between aggressive and passive, and they know when to make it happen, or on their off days, which do happen. Don't get me wrong, Kazna Crew have their days when they're absolutely boiling hot, and other days when they're freezing cold. When they're cold, they don't have that balance locked down. They don't quite find that real good moment to push in. They're kind of off kilt a little bit. But hopefully they can keep this up and build from this, because obviously picking up that first map is so essential. It's so essential.
It gives you that momentum going forwards, doesn't it? That's so important. And I think, considering playing Ducks, his best map is probably Himmelsdorf. You've always got to win the other team's best maps, because if you do that, then you're already ahead in terms of momentum and also confidence. So I think that's going to be the perfect start to Kazna Crew's 5 games. They couldn't have asked for any better. Now going into Prokhorovka, which is a map they've had some shaky results on, especially against Spale at DreamHack, but they've kind of cemented them up a little bit. They're definitely better team at it. They've fixed the mistakes, they've fixed the errors, and I think they're going to do a good job on this one. But it also depends on the lineup that they take. Will it be the 4-1-6 or will it be the Pershing? I think either of these two teams will be looking towards those 2 tanks. But saying that, the 4-1-6 hasn't really proven itself to us
Not yet. It looks so viable. That's the thing in my eyes. It looks like it's a solid tank pick. I think it can find a place. As you mentioned before, we just need that one player to champion it. That one player to go, this is how you play it right. This is how we can prove it's viable in competitive play. Because by all rights, statistics, head-to-head with all the other possible picks, it's up there. There's no reason it can't be played. They just need to find that one key place to kind of start working it in. But anyway, the picks have begun, so let's keep our eyes towards that. One player, I think, does have a couple of issues, so he'll be joining back in when he's pretty much ready, I do believe. So let's see what sort of picks we're going to be seeing at the moment. Who do you think might go for that curveball?
I think it would probably be playing Ducks. They're definitely the team that likes to stretch things out a little bit. And what's great about that team is, it won't be just a random pick. These guys train exceedingly hard. So if any team does it, it will be theirs. But to start off with, it's the MX-1390 and the T1 from playing Ducks, and the T1 and the T69 from Kazna. That'll be replied by the same from playing Ducks. And Kazna going for the MX-1390 and T1 for their second to last pick. So both teams going for the T69 and the MX-1390 as their primary tanks. Obviously, that Tier 8 medium American tank, such a good tank in every respect. Especially good on Prokhorovka, where that 50 minus penetration in 8.8 doesn't make that much of a difference, because you will be shooting, your AMX-1390s and T69s, which are still penetrable, whereas on something like Himmelsdorf and Ents, the IS-3 definitely is harder to penetrate. AMX-1390 and the T69 for WoT, and it goes for Kazna Crew as well. So both teams going for the standard lineup, the double T69, double AMX-1390, double T1, just waiting for that last pick. It will be Hyber picking that Strange. If anything is Strange, he'll be the one to pick the one up, and Wustenfush will be playing that role for WoT. MX-1390 for WoT is going to be their last pick. So we're going for something completely normal, the triple MX-1390, double T69, double T1. And the Pershing, Pershing could be played by Kazna Crew. One of these two teams is going to pick it, and it will be Kazna Crew. And I think that perhaps says something about the map. Maybe from the north, the Pershing is the best tank to pick. From the south, where you need that speed, because it's a slightly harder side to play, the MX-1390 is still favoured.
Now, I'm trying to work out, from the first map in perspective, who do you think has the advantage going into this one?
I think Kazna Crew does. I honestly think they've had a few shaky results, but they've definitely been playing well, and I think they're going to prove that on Prokhorovka. And I hope, although WoT has playing Ducks have had a few good results on Prokhorovka as well, that they will just be able to at least put up some sort of fight against them. Yeah,
it's all about trying to find that middle ground for these guys. And I'm looking at WoT. They took the initiative, which I always really enjoy, but the execution there, a little bit lacking to my taste. They kind of tunnel vision down a bit. They kind of ignored the variables, which obviously can be such an important factor in this game. If you ignore the fact that obviously the team can still move and get that counter cap underway, you completely lose track of what's going on. I feel as they got a little bit outplayed on that aspect, but all credit for them taking the initiative. Gotta love that, but I don't think you can really do that on Prokhorovka so much. It's a little bit more tentative, a little bit more dependent on those brawls, and whoever really comes out better of that, depending on how these guys play it. Obviously, we've seen so many different styles to Prokhorovka these days. It's not just the way we saw Dingtest and Virtus Pro going at it. That was a little bit of a backwards one almost, but obviously it worked eventually in one team's favour over the other, which was Virtus Pro's. But I don't think these two will go for that. I feel as though they're the more normal side. They've gone for fairly standard picks, bar that Pershing, which is going to be a reoccurring trend these days in Season 3 at least. So I'm not sure what we're going to see from these guys. You look at that more WoT lineup, you see those 3090s, you're thinking speed, you see those 269s, you're thinking that usual exchange in the field, using those T69s, the damage dealers, 3090s, almost as the speed kind of sniper scout-esque kind of role to kind of come in when they need it. But I don't know what to expect from Kazna. With that Pershing involved, instead of the additional 1390, I'm not sure where I want to read into that. Like, where can it be placed? Where do they think they're going to be focusing down towards?
Well, there's not really a specific location where the Pershing excels. The great thing about that tank, it excels pretty much everywhere. The good penetration, the 268, and the reload of 6.5 seconds, as well as that 250 average damage. It's just a good all-rounder, full stop.
Well, with that in mind, let's get you an introduction towards the one, the only Prokhorovka.
Prokhorovka, a large map at 1,000 by 1,000 meters which allows teams to stretch their legs and artillery to test their skills. There are 3 primary routes of attack: over the left tree road, the middle area, and towards the town. The tree road is very open and flat but has a very large number of bushes and trees that provide good cover if you're not shooting. The middle area is where the initial engagements happen as teams gather as much information as they possibly can. Both teams are fairly symmetrical and only offer small hills and brushes as cover. The middle area is where the initial engagements happen as teams gather as much information as they possibly can. The railroad that splits the map has a large number of bushes running alongside it that provides good cover and the occasional route of attack in the village and hill area. Teams should look towards taking fast tanks and artillery as they complement each other on this expansive map.
Okay, guys, let's get our eyes towards the second map. As Joe said, it is Prokhorovka, and we will be seeing in the south, in the gold, more DE, aka playing Ducks these days, facing off against the north, the blue, the Kazna crew. And what do you think we're going to be seeing so far? What's the kind of starting position these two have gone for?
Well, Kazna crew doing what they always do, pushing straight out the middle. Veko and Runes playing those AMX 1390s are leading the charge. Still Mojo playing the slightly slower T69. Hyber and Palauda in the back.
They were doing the flying V formation, and it made me very happy looking at that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyone who has Ducks in the name and says, you know, the flying V, they've got it in the bag. You know, Runes has received the first shell here. Who do you think has the upper hand?
Well, Runes did receive the first shell, so, you know, playing Ducks have the upper hand, but only by a slight margin, and Palauda taking another one. He's down to 1-1. Well, scratch that, 898 on his T69. More have the worst locations, but seem to be making more of it. And they're actually going to get some even better locations, kind of fixing themselves around Veko, and I think he might be in trouble.
Well, you say that. QQ's going low as well. So both teams going back and forward here. Siege goes down to 349. Veko about even, but QQ has got the focus of the vast majority of Kazna crew. He falls down to Still Mojo. The reply finally comes in from Wu towards Veko, but it's a really hard forward exchange. Siege is low. Wu is not sitting too pretty. Scarring on the reload. It's all down to more to deal with this pressure. They've got good damage towards Kazna crew. All the players look at least fairly weakened. Wu receives another shell, however, so he's going to have to back away, use that defilade as cover, and try and find a way through and wait out that reload as Hyber goes on the push with that Pershing, which I'm not used to seeing in his hands, but I'm looking forward to what he can bring here.
Yeah, I think Hyber's the instrument of attack for Kazna crew, and he's going to be able to deal some real damage as the whole of WoT is pretty much reloading. You see Wustenfush, Shaluza, and Seek in those AMX 1390s have at least 10 to 20 seconds reload, and that's where he can really come into the equation. Still on plenty of health, 624, but the rest of Kazna crew pretty much damaged up. We've got Hyber on half health, Palauda's sitting there as well. Still Mojo's down to 328, and Runes on 176. As the loser does take a big shot there from Hyber, 228. The gun depression on the Pershing is pretty superb. But I wouldn't say either team really has an advantage at this point. I would say Kazna crew definitely have it, but now Scarring's going to go in.
Yeah, Scarring going in, but he is so damaged. He's outnumbered drastically. Hyber now needs to back away, left on 216. Scarring 593, so he's in trouble if he gets more shells connected towards him. He's managed to fend them off for now. Wu's taken down Still Mojo. Scarring stays alive for another second, but for how long? 108 HP. Runes can take him out, Palauda can take him out, and of course Hyber as well. But Wu and Aluza being the ones just about holding them back till that moment. Hyber managed to take him down, and his work in that Pershing has been stunning. Only 216 HP, but that's enough to do the damage right now. And the last two real damage-dealing members of WoT, aka Playing Ducks, are pretty much in trouble. There's no way to phrase it any other way, because Aluza 608 HP, Wu 209. The rest of Kazna crew are damaged. Runes is low, Palauda's low, Hyber's low, but the positions that Kazna crew have right now are so superior.
Yeah, you can't really push in, and that's exactly what Playing Ducks need to do to finish off these low tanks from Kazna crew. And that's what Kazna's done very well so far. Spread out the damage between their team and really get that down. But look at Dark Dawn doing the damage with the T1s, and Kobleon's going to come in from the side. Yeah,
they're just being that real pestering T1s. Hyber needs to back away a little bit. They're trying to reposition, but Runes coming with a nice long-range shot, taking down Loser to about 90 HP. Wu's still being pestered by those dear little T1s. He's trying to fend his way out of it, but Hyber now focusing down Loser, who had to switch up position. Hopefully, Lepo can kind of help him out, but Wu has managed to take down that T1. But still, he's still in trouble. 52 HP. It could be a possibility that T1 could take him out of there, but by all rights, he should win that one. Loser is going to be making his move towards Hyber here. Going to be going aggressive. He's made it count. Takes him down, and now looking towards the rest. Quickly dealt with by the remains of Kazna crew. And where's that one remaining player that can do any sort of work? It's Wu. Left in a 1v3, well, 1v2 if you take into damage-dealing roles. And that T1 who's been pestering him the whole time. 52 HP. He's even being cautious of Dark Dawn. He knows the magnitude of this situation. He's not taking it lightly at all. So Wu now does, well, it's Lepo who finally comes in onto that T1 of Dark Dawn. And now Wu has 2 players to focus down. Paluda and Runes. Runes, 176 HP. But he's reloading. The only one who can deal damage right now is Paluda on 458. So it's a little bit of a tough situation. 5 minutes and 20 remain, but it's a little bit close for comfort. And there we have it. More damage being put down there. And Paluda looks like he's hungry for more. Lepo is left only on his own, and I don't see him getting out of this one, funny enough.
No, I don't think he can do much here. He's going to try and do some damage to Paluda, but unfortunately cannot do it, and he'll get taken out pretty rapidly. A pretty interesting game that was. We can't really call tactics on that one because it was literally more about the positions these two teams had, and it was about the shots they got. So one team does a little bit of damage, the other team replies a little bit of damage of their own, and I think Kazna won that one in the end because they managed to spread the damage throughout the whole team. Most of their team was sitting on 100 to 300 HP, which is what you want because you still have the gun in the game, and as long as that gun's in the game, it can do damage. Well, okay, a few of the tanks of playing Duts were still on high HP because they didn't have as many guns. They couldn't do as much damage. They didn't have as many options. And that's what ultimately lost them the game.
I'm going to ask you the question. I'm seeing a lot more people splitting their T69s, their Pershings, down towards, the 6th line around that village area. It always seems a little bit different. Maybe in the last couple of playdays, we've seen more of that brawl where the T69s are more in the field. The 3090s are trying to get the spots in. Why is there that little bit of change coming in? Do you think it's to counter any of the previous plays, or is it just natural progression?
I think just because there's that rock towards the left side, if you get an AMX 3090 behind there, then you can just get sight shots on those T69s. And that can be disastrous because obviously the MX 3090 has the 6 shells, so it can do 1,440 damage, which is just, it blows the T69 out of the water completely. Has got 1,350 health, so it could be gone after one set of shells.
Right.
And I think that's ultimately what it is. And also you have a bit more cover there. You have the right hill and you have the city as well as the track in the middle. So all these kind of things are being thought through by the teams and being utilized to their greatest effect. But we will be moving on to Abbey.
Yeah, indeed. Abbey. Going to be the deciding map if Playing Ducks can come back into this one pretty much. Otherwise, it would be a 3-0 victory in theory. Obviously, the last two will still, however, be played out. I always like Kazna crew on this map as well. That's the weirdest thing. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here because normally I'm all about the Kazna crew love. These guys I really do like. I like the way they play. I love the way Hyber plays. I'm a big fan of him in that T69 or the 1390 on this very map. Always good, being dominant around that central position. Such a key member. But I'm trying to stay a little bit, away from being one-sided here. But with this being the deciding map, essentially, it's going to be Kazna's.
It certainly could be. But Kazna, won it on Himmelsdorf, which was Playing Ducks' most favored map. So we could see a role reversal where their favored map is also beaten by the other team, where Kazna Crew's favored map is, Abbey, and that's where Playing Ducks can come into the and really take it. But T1s and T69 from Kazna Crew to start off with, and the T1 the MX 3090 from more now known as Playing Ducks. T1 MX 5100 from Kazna Crew. And that T69 as well as that T1 from Playing Ducks as well. So back and forth, a little bit strange lineups from these two. Obviously, Kazna going for the MX 5100, like we saw both Team Dignitas and the Virtus Pro pick last time round on our previous match. MX 3090 and T69 is the second to last pick from Kazna, and that's going to come out from Playing Ducks as well. MX 3090 last pick from Kazna Crew. Just waiting for Playing Ducks. I think they're going to pick probably something the same or along the T69 MX 3090 route. Obviously, with such a complicated map, as Joe will kindly explain in a minute. It's essential that you have that speed and you have the firepower in the equation. At this point, though, Playing Ducks have gone for the speed as opposed to the firepower with the triple MX-1390, double T69, double T1. Well, Kazna Crew going for the 5100 instead of the extra MX-1390, as well as two MX-1390s and two T69s, as well as two T1s. So they'll have more firepower, more HP, but they can also get outmaneuvered and outcapped at the end of the day with the MX-5100 being so big and slow.
You have to see how that comes into play. I'm looking forward to this one. Bear in mind, currently, Kazna Crew 2-0 up over Playing Ducks, who are vastly ahead of them in the league. Playing Ducks are sitting in third at the moment, so this will be a big game for Kazna Crew around that 8th marker. So, very important game for these guys. They get themselves warmed up, getting themselves ready, and this is the Kazna Crew that we know. These are the guys that can cause upsets. No matter what the difference is in the league, they always seem to be able to kind of start niggling away at the teams above them and start working them down, and that's one of their biggest strengths, being one of those dark horses that can always do well. And considering Abbey is one of their better maps, or at least I prefer it, I prefer them on this map, this is dangerous times for the Ducks, and they're going to be careful, because Kazna Crew certainly are going duck hunting at the moment, and it's not
Some would
looking
say
good.
they could either sink or swim here.
Can ducks sink?
I don't know.
That's a terrible analogy. How does that work?
I'm not an avian expert.
Ducks can sink. I've been told by my producer, ducks can sink.
Yeah.
I'm...
Wow, okay.
Wow.
Right.
I'm getting duck information right now. Apparently grease themselves up.
Yeah, they got glands on the back of their bodies, and they just niggle into them with their beaks, and that's why you see them grooming themselves the whole time.
I'm baffled by this.
Our producer's got ducks in his house, and
He's got ducks at home.
He's
See,
got
this
pet
is
ducks.
I never knew this about the people I spend most of my evenings with. Apparently he's got pet ducks. That's incredible. Anyway, ducks aside, who apparently can sink, I've just found out. You know, they're looking ready. So guys, let's get in towards Abbey, which will be our third map here.
Welcome to Abbey, a hard but gratifying map to master. Abbey is 1,000 by 1,000 meters and has three main routes of attack. The left mountainous area, through the Abbey in the middle, or in the trench to the right. The housed Abbey area in the middle, the winding trench road, and the treacherous mountainous area. The Abbey area can be moved upon on a central road. Often the two teams battle it out for the higher ground. The mountainous area often sees intense action as it overlooks the Abbey and provides key access to the enemy's base. The base area can also be accessed via the trench and is a common route of attack. It is essential to defend your base. Teams must pay close attention to their tank setups and in particular how they utilize them to greatest effects on what is a very complicated map.
Thank you ever so much, Joe Miller. Welcome back, guys. Obviously, it is the third map here. It is Abbey. Currently, Kazna Crew sitting on match point almost. And they're going to have to face against WoT starting in the north in that golden yellow, whereas Kazna Crew getting themselves rolling in the south in the blue. So what are we seeing so far?
So Kazna going over towards the mountain area, which we see from the south quite often. Definitely the better route of attack. Dark Dawn, though, sitting in the middle, ready to back up Cobra Leon, who will get the initial spots off. And for the side of Playing Ducks, also going towards the mountain area with most of their tanks, although they've put a couple towards the middle. That'll be Lepo and Sich, the T1 and the MX-1390. So pretty similar start to what we saw in the previous games, although Team Dingsas didn't go towards the mountain area quite so much. And I honestly think this is going to come down to that mountain brawl between the MX-1390s. Rune's now pinging out SOS. So what we have right now is the Playing Ducks sitting over here and the Kazna Crew guys sitting here. Although some would argue that with the MX-5100, that Kazna Crew definitely have the firepower advantage. It's sitting right up behind, ready to snipe, perhaps a push from the middle from Playing Ducks. But Elusa and Runes are going to get the couple of shots out. Elusa getting punished.
Yeah, indeed. Down to 619 already. He has come off the worst of that little skirmish now. QQ and Scarin did not have the chance to come back in with a reply then, because there's no angle for it. They literally, Elusa did not drag out Kazna Crew close enough then. And obviously, early advantage to Kazna Crew.
Yeah, he's trying to do some blind shots, Shot all 6 shells. He'll be on reload now, so another 33 seconds until he can do damage again. But now a loser 619. Kazna crew with the HP advantage anyway at the beginning of the map with the AMX 5100 gives them even more of an advantage in that respect. So they'll be able to push forward. A loser getting punished once again, but replying with a shell onto Runes. He's down to 889. But it begs the question, with that HP advantage and the possibilities of a loser going down so quickly from this point onwards, will Kazna crew push forwards, and will Playing Ducks be able to stop them? I don't think so, but we'll have to wait and see. These two teams full of skillful players and good decision making from both their parts. But it looks like QQ is going to push in, and he will actually take down Hyber.
Yeah, indeed. First kill does actually go against Kazna crew, who had such an upper hand. Hyper got a little bit caught out then. I'm not sure if they realized those 269s were laying in wait, but, well, he went just after a loser. He showed his hand a little bit too much, and he got it bitten off. So Runes and Paluda now, the last real guardians of that pass down that 1 and 2 line, and they're going to have to battle it out. But you can see in the main city, Lepo and Cobra Leone getting a little bit close for comfort. Everyone else backing away, kind of resetting and looking for another way through.
Yeah, but Dark wants to try and join in the fun with his T69. It's strange to see him play a T69 because he's usually the resident IS3 player for Kazna Group. Dark Dawn actually taking out Lepo in the middle, so good positional and good thinking play from him. But now 1 tier 8 tank down. Will Kazna Crew be able to fend off anything from Playing Ducks? I don't think they will. I think a clever push from Playing Ducks onto this mountain area will easily be able to stop and destroy anything Kazna Crew has to throw at them. But Kazna Crew always play well, they always play smart, and I think we're going to see an engage. It looks like Playing Ducks are pushing in.
Yeah, indeed. QQ was on the receiving end then of a lot of fire, down to 550 right now. They're focused out a loser as well. He's not being able to get into this fight. Wu splitting off with Siege down the right flank. They're going to be pinning in Still Mojo and Paluda, and there's no way out of this one. Siege getting that fire down, 160. Dark Dawn cannot deal the damage in time. Siege takes down Still Mojo, leaves Paluda all alone, leaving him down to Scarran and QQ to take out. But they have to reload. Siege coming in. He's got 82 HP. He's done enough. Wu will land the killing blow. And now with 6 minutes and 12 seconds remaining, Playing Ducks have turned the situation even further into their favor. Rune's trying to make a final stand here in this pass. Scarran and Wu quickly onto his heels. Rune's needing to back away there, but he's staying firm. He's trying to hold his ground. He's set Wu on fire. He's taking him down low. One more shell will take him out. 76 HP. Rune somehow holds back the flood of more WoT DE right now, and Runes looks to deal more damage towards Scarran. 93 HP. Scarran is not going to get out of this one alive. Surely not. Dark Dawn, though, backing away, needs to reload, and that's just about what saved Morty in this situation.
Wustenfush got so unlucky then. He expected to be able to survive that bombardment from Rune's AMX 3090 playing the SA-47, but because he got set on fire, that was an extra 300 damage on top of that, the initial damage from those shells, and he didn't expect that at all, and that's what ultimately got him killed. And I think that's what Kazna Crew got put back in the equation for. But that's what Kazna Crew is going to do. They're going to push in. They have the HP advantage. Morwat going to have to retreat. Indeed, and they know exactly where Morwat need to go. Dark Dawn's got the reload in. It's time to make his move. The clock was being captured. He's pushed them out of that comfortable zone. Now Morwat are on the defensive posture here. 3 players remaining pretty much down that 2 line. Dark Dawn looking to do the damage quick, though. He's received 1 shell down to 402 HP. QQ and Scarran still laying wait. Where is Runes? Is he already taken down? No, Rune's split off already. Where is he? I'm trying to find him on my map. I can't even see him. He's just behind him, so they aren't too far away. These two splitting apart now. Runes, I believe, going down a little bit of a different route here. Going to be trying to get around the back of more DE. Siege will be the first target. 82 HP. Should be 1 swift blow. Should take him down. So let's see if Runes is going to go for the challenge. Not immediately this time. They're literally pinned in. They cannot move out of this one. They have that T69 of Dark Dawn one route, that 1390 of Runes in the other, and they have no choices here. Those T1s will be going for that capture point now, and then just make the move. There's no way out of this. That's simple as that. There we go. Clock now ticking. It's time for the move to begin. The T69 has made its way back around, and then we're going to see what more D can do here. It's all down to them. I just don't see them having a chance. The only chance they really have is Arjo getting in behind those 2 T1s and managing to kill both. If he takes one out, then he'll be able to take the other out after the 11 seconds reload, but he doesn't seem to be moving. Look at C. She's willing to go down the cliff edge, trying to get around and try and stop that reclap. He's a duck, man. He can go through water. That's very true. That's a very good point. Hopefully he doesn't sink. He is going to be making his way through. Slowly does it. I think he's a little bit stuck there. No, he's got himself out. Yeah, indeed. I don't know. He's not moving, is he? I think he's pretty much stuck, because otherwise he would have got back and he would have stopped this cap by now. Yes, he is very much stuck. Yeah.
between a rock and a hard place, let's just say, quite literally. And this time the clock has run out, and WoT had no options there, even with that many tanks remaining. Kazna crew did it with some real style there. I've got to give it to them.
Yeah, it was interesting. Very much.
It was an interesting game.
It was very lucky on their part, to be perfectly honest.
That one little T1
yeah,
just
not only
stuck.
did the T1 stuck there, which is unfortunate because I think a bigger tank wouldn't have got stuck there. But
I'm pretty sure we've seen Kazna crew doing that themselves to
Yeah,
get
that's
themselves
true.
stuck there. So it's not the first time we've seen that, but
it does seem to happen on Abbey a rather large amount of times, just because, as Joe kindly explained, it's such a complicated map. It's so many little nooks and crannies you can get stuck in. But not only for that reason were they unlucky, but because Wussenfusch pushed him with the MX-1390, he got set on fire. And what you have to consider is the fact that these teams have all skills, every single skill on their tank. So they have 100% firefighting crew, but it's pretty much useless. I mean, it doesn't do anything pretty much. I don't. That skill is just seems to be worthless. I'm not sure what it's doing. But yeah, it did like the fire did like 300 damage to him, which he didn't expect to happen. So that got him killed, and Runes only had one shell left to do it. So really unlucky play from playing Ducks, but I think that just happens.
yeah, indeed. Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles, and that has given Kazna crew 3 maps in a row now.
Yeah.
That's a troublesome sight. WoT need to get those last 2 in the bag just for point's sake alone, because towards the end of the season, as we constantly say, it can come down to how many wins you've had, how many maps you've won, how many times you've faced off against the opponent, how many times you've picked up maps, blah, blah. It all comes into it, basically. Every single way that you can get points on the board, every single slight advantage or, close kind of game you get, that's where the games get defined. And the next map will be Steps. Now, do you think WoT have a bit of a chance here? Because I feel as though they're a little bit unlucky on that last one.
Yeah, WoT's playing Ducks has won it on this one before. We've seen last time Matchday, we saw them beat him. I'm not sure who it was. I think it might have been Spay or something like that. So they definitely have a chance here. They just have to play it out, see if they can get some good flanks on the go. I always think there's 2 ways of playing Steps. There's either playing the normal way, which is from the south going towards the rocky left area, or from the north going over to the trench area. But the other way is just going full aggressive, like from the south, just pushing straight up and flanking around onto the guys gone in the trench to the north and catching them by surprise, like we're seeing more and more from the teams.
Yeah, it's becoming a common trend now.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because it like puts some doubt in the other enemy's teams. Are they going to do one of 2 things? Are they going to push, or they're going to stay passive? Like, it's a 50-50. So if they push, they almost always win. But then if you don't push forwards, you don't take that trench area, then they're going to win anyway. So you've got to push, but then you can easily lose. So it's such a hard game
choices,
to play.
yeah. So anyway, with that in mind, let's get into the tank picks, because it will be Steps. They have begun. So what are we seeing so far here? And what do you think we're going to see? Any kind of crazy tanks, maybe a Pershing here and there?
Well, Pershing, yeah, I think Pershing is a good chance of that coming in. 416 as well might start being brought back in. T1 MX-1390 though from both teams to start us off with. T1 T69 from playing Ducks. So just normal picks from the get-go. We're not expecting anything outrageous here. T1 MX-1390 again coming from Kazna crew. The only real thing that happens on this map is other teams going to pick 2 T69s and 3 MX-1390s or vice versa. Next pick from playing Ducks is the MX-1390 and that T69. Obviously, the T69 has plenty of gun depression to deal with the slight hills on this map, and obviously, if you're defending, it can shoot over the rocks and etc. etc. Okay, so Kazna crew deciding to throw things into the ballpark a little bit, Pershing and the 416. So they're going to pick both of the odd picks, I guess you could call them at this stage of the season. The 2 tanks which are occasionally picked from the strange picks you see from these teams. So Pershing, the tier 8 American medium tank, and the Object 416, that Russian prototype tank. So MX-1390 last pick from playing Ducks. I'm just waiting for Kazna crew's pick next. So I think the ultimate logic behind Pershing and the 416 is the fact that Kazna crew is already 3-0 up. They don't have anything to lose at this point. They might as well test everything out. They might as well test both the strange picks out, see which player is most effective on it, and which player can really bring out the results, really bring the damage, and if they can bring out the results and the damage.
And a T32.
Yeah, so I was talking about this earlier. The Russian teams and some of the European teams are starting to favour that T32 because it's so hard to kill, especially with the T69s. It's the heat changes. Now the tracks, which is pretty much the whole of the T32, actually act as spaced armour, so you can't do any damage to them.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the reason. And also it's got 1,550 health. so it can pretty much deal with pretty much all the damage these AMX1390s and T69s do. If you consider the AMX1390 doesn't even do 1,550 damage in one set of auto-loading shells.
Interesting lineup from Kazna crew then. If you wanted to learn some new tanks or look towards picking up some new tanks, it's certainly that lineup you're looking at, see how it comes into play. And for me, once again, all eyes on that 416.
Yeah, I think we know how the T32's played, but the 416 we're still a bit unsure about it. That's definitely the tank we have to look to really step it up on steps.
Yeah, indeed. I'm certainly looking forward to this one. So guys, let's get you the video ready for steps.
Steps is the other open map in the map pool, being 1,000 by 1,000, having no urban areas. There are 3 primary routes of attack: the trench, the rocky area to the left, and the middle road. The road offers direct routes to the enemy's base, but despite having a staggering amount of cover along the way, you are vulnerable to attack from all sides. The trench area provides for great engagements as it's only a few hills and rocks to cover the teams. Most of the engagements occur around this rock, the winner of which gains a crucial foothold on the map. The rocky left area provides the most cover for attacking and defending teams. It's essential that you pick tanks that can traverse from one side of the map to the other rapidly. They also must be able to get to the various key locations as quickly as possible. That is the key to victory.
Alrighty, so let's get into the 4th map here. As Joe kindly told us, it is the one and only step. So what are we seeing from these guys so far?
So you can see the un-auto-loading tanks reloading very quickly from Kazna crew. That'll give them a good sniping advantage, and they are going to try and use it over towards the trench. Veka going first, Dark Dawn behind, Runes and Hyber in hot pursuit, and still Mojo sluggishly trying to get there as well in his T32. And on the side of playing Ducks, also going towards the trench, standard tactic from the north. And they will have the slight advantage of being able to deal a hell of a lot of burst damage with all those autoloaders. But the sniping ability from Kazna crew is almost unashamed. They're just going to be able to deal so much damage if it comes towards the late game. You know, 6 minutes and below, going towards that 5-minute area. Scarring take 323. I believe that was from Still Mojo playing the T32. And that's what playing Ducks will have to worry about. Still Mojo, look how much health he has.
Indeed. All eyes on that man right there. We are seeing 3 players from the more WoT, aka, well, playing Ducks boys, splitting off down towards that back path around the side of the 8 and 9 line. And these guys are exchanging it. So the T69 is kind of staying together. The rest of the forces, those 1390s, looking for a way through. And right now, they're not finding it. As you said, there's so much firepower and so much sniping ability amongst the Kazna crew side. They're struggling right now. These guys are going to back their way out of here, try and find a new route through, leave those T69s in position to try and fend off anyone who tries to make a bit of a counter push. But what sort of options now do more WoT have? They've obviously kind of realized what they're up against, how it's a viable option here. What can they do?
I think the best thing they can do is really just ignore that T32. It's not going to do that much damage. Just about a 10 seconds reload. And 320 average damage on that T5E1 gun. So it's not going to do a hell of a lot. Just ignore it. Take down the Pershing first. Look towards those AMX1390s. Make sure they don't get the reload after they've done their initial shots. And then worry about the T32 and the 416. But they've come back. They're going to try and do some sniping shots. And I think they're actually going to try and take the T32. They're going to take it from behind.
Yeah, indeed. They've split off. They've gone in a little bit of a 3-3 formation there. So QQ and Co staying together in that T69. Still Mojo going low. 828, 370. It could be all over so quickly. He's down. Siege managed to deal that damaging blow. Loser somehow staying alive, but now they're in trouble. Now Hyber has that chance. Now he's taking it. And it looks as though they're looking to even this one up. Wu misses that shot. Doesn't get the connection towards Hyber that he wanted. Siege, however, is pushing forward. He's going to be the aggressive player here. Does try and get around the side of him. Pin him in. Try and get the damage dealt towards that 416. Oh, lovely connection. 6 HP left. And he's out of there. Siege being absolutely instrumental right now for the more WoT side. But there we go. Finally taken down by Veko. But Veko left very much alone. And now more can reset, regroup hopefully, and stay alive, even though Wu just received another shell.
Dark Dawn's down to 149. That wouldn't be good stuff for him. He is on reload, and as well as Veko. And I think more Planet Key, Playing Ducks have the advantage of being able to reset the fight. They have most of their tanks reloading, and that's going to be bad news for Kazna crew because 2 of their non-auto-loading tanks are down, the 416 and the T-32, only leaving Runes playing the Pershing, while Dark Dawn and Veko have to reload. But look at the HP disadvantage that Playing Ducks have. QQ's on half L, Scarin's there as well. Wustenfush is down to 613, and those 2 T1s obviously still on full HP, but they're going to be cancelled out by Kazna crew's 2 T1s as well.
They've just been spotted by Io as well. That man's just kind of caught on to what Kazna are doing. We've seen a common trend today that we've been seeing those little T1s splitting off, trying to draw the attention back from the vast amount of players, you know, from that brawling section. And obviously that T1's negated that, and you can keep eyes on it, and there won't be any kind of being caught with your pants down moments for the Playing Ducks this time around. So Scarin still trying to land a couple of shells towards Runes. No brilliant connections, although Dark Dawn taking down Io now could open up at least a free path through for the T1s if they wanted to take it. But at the moment, I think more are just going to turtle down and try and hold out for the damage. Yeah,
that's probably their logic. And Runes is doing well so far. He's also trying to connect some shells onto Playing Ducks, but as you can see, he's had 1 shell onto his turret, but because of the spaced armor between the turret and the main superstructure of this turret, it doesn't do any damage, and that's where the mantle comes into effect on this Pershing. Obviously, if you look towards the higher penetration tanks and the not firing those heat rounds, it certainly would penetrate that tank. But with the AMX 1390 only having 244 penetration and the T69 only having 250, but it looks like, well, Playing Ducks not playing around.
No, indeed, they are making the move right now, going to be sinking themselves into this. Runes and Veko just steps away. Scarin backing up Wu in that 1390 and T69 combo. Runes will be actually challenging this, going straight around, looking for that connection that he desperately needs, and it's not happened so far. Scarin does not land the shell he wanted. Wu going in for seconds, does not connect the shell. This is not going well for WoT. They wanted to get this one over and done with pretty quickly. Focus out Runes, and it's a tough fought battle. And still bouncing shells left, right, and center. Wu and Co still not being able to land one yet. QQ now coming around. First shell does land. Second follow-up. Here we go. Finally, Playing Ducks are getting the damage they needed. Wu finding Runes. Now Veko, the only man really in the situation close enough, does go down. Now Scarin, Wu, and QQ can look towards the remains of what is Kazna crew.
Dark Dawn was out of position. That allowed the whole of Playing Ducks to push around, and finally Wustenfush will take down Veko in his AMX 1390. Too late to the party, some would say. And well, despite Runes having the luxury of not having to reload, he could just he didn't stand a chance when QQ came up from above. He distracted him a little bit, and that allowed the rest of WoT to come around. Lepo will finally get finished off by Kazna crew's T1 Cobra Leone, making it a very tiny 3-1.
It was, and I've got to say it. Wu got 3 kills that round, that game. He got 1.8k damage, not massive, but he was there when they needed them.
Yeah.
Every single time. He connected the shells they needed, because there was a real kind of stalemate moment then when they were back and forthing. The shells weren't landing towards Runes. They weren't working out. It was a little bit tentative. He broke through. He got that one. He followed up immediately with a second, and it was just really good play. If only we saw a little bit more of that from WoT a little bit earlier. You know, that little bit of a split push initially I thought was brilliant. Them focusing down the 2 real big players against them. It was a little bit risky, don't get me wrong, sending 3 of those 1390s down there, but it paid off.
It paid off perfectly, and surprisingly, I thought they would ignore the T-32, but they didn't. They used the back of the T-32, which is still obviously very vulnerable, just to their advantage, managing to take it down very quickly, using pretty much as much firepower as early as possible. Like, towards the later game, a T-32 is a lot harder to deal with because you have low HP, so the higher alpha damage on the T-32 will be able to, you know, niggle you down a little bit, and you have less tanks to deal with. So get it out quickly, which I didn't think they would do. And then it's out for good. You don't have to worry about it. Its armor is not going to come to the equation because it's dead. And the 416 not managing to land any shells either. So not going so well, these unusual picks. And Runes, in fairness, didn't do a bad job.
No. Like,
he had the luxury of being able to just shoot and not worry about having how many shells he has in his autoloader. But unsupported by Veko in his AMX 1390, it wasn't good stuff.
Yeah, it's worth trying out, but I think the more WoT showed what can happen if you overly invest into things you aren't quite used to yet or found the correct placing for.
Sure.
And they just used, you know, every single weak aspect of those tanks and used it against them. So well played to them for reading into that. Can't take it away from them there. So as you said, scoreline currently 3-1. Still in favour to Kazna crew. That's not going to be changing. But the last map will be mined, so they can kind of turn things around here and get it at least 3-2 overall. Save a little bit of pride pride there. And let's have a look at the tank picks. They are beginning. So what do you think we're going to see on this one?
So Mines is not really a map we see a hell of a lot of. I'm not entirely sure. I think the team's just started to bring it out of favor because it's just a hard one to play without, you know, your Bisons and your Sturmpanzer 2s, as well as that GV Panther Lorraine 15551, which we saw in Season 1. So a bit hard to play, a bit unpredictable. Definitely Ensk, Himmelsdorf, Ruhenberg, Steps, all preferred by these teams. But tank picking has begun. T1 AMX 1390 from both, T69 ×2 from both. So Mines, obviously, one of the better maps for the T69. I think we'll also see the T32 coming back in, especially from the team from the north, which is, I believe, Kazna crew. But Kazna playing that T1 and the T69 as the second to last pick. T1 AMX 1390 for the last pick of playing Dutch. The AMX 1390 will favour the hill push. Whichever team picks more AMX 1390 is more likely to play the hill game. Although, once on the hill, the AMX 1390 is not all that easy to play because it doesn't have any gun depression. You won't be able to shoot anything below the hill, and that's just not good when you're in the hill at all. I mean, that's just logic dictates that. So T69 is the last pick from Kazna crew. Just waiting for that last pick from playing Ducks. I believe they're going to go for a T32, or it could be a T69 as well. Or maybe even a Pershing. We saw how much damage that Pershing was able to soak up from the turret and the turret and the superstructure. It's kind of middle section. If it's well angled, then obviously the bullet will just, or shell will just bounce off, no problem at all. So just waiting on playing Ducks to pick their last tank. I believe T69, although it could be T32 as well. I'm gonna predict playing Ducks on this one.
I thought you were going to say, I predicted T69. After they'd picked it up, I was like, don't you lie to our viewers like this. Don't you treat them like that, you mean person. But yeah, obviously, lineups now. So who do you say this was going for?
Playing Ducks, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, I think they just deserve it. They've been playing pretty well, especially considering that last map. I think they just deserve the game here, and let's hope they can pull it off.
Yeah, so let's get the last video lined up for the one, the only, Mines.
Mines, the original and best World of Tanks 7-on-7 map famed for its incredible tactical opportunities. A small map being 800 by 800 meters. The map has 3 primary routes of attack: the left flank through the water, the middle area, and the town side. The key position on this map is the middle area, as it provides great firing positions and areas of attack for the team that holds it. The middle area's primary entrance is the road passing through the middle of the map. It is essential that the teams take key areas around the hill, both of which are situated just below the hill, the north side and the south side. These locations can provide for some amusing tactics. The hill isn't the only means of attack on Mines though. There's also a housing area towards the east side that has a fair few routes of attack and provides great cover for advancing tanks. The water area can be an option for teams, however the soft ground makes it very hard for tanks to traverse rapidly but leads straight to the opponent's base.
Alrighty guys, so welcome into the final map here. It will be Mines. As I tried to do my Joe impression, I don't think it was very good, but we are seeing more WoT starting in the north, and in the south, it's going to be Kazna crew. Currently, it is Kazna crew's game, but maybe for a little bit of pride and those points later on, we can see more building up here. They've gone for an interesting start. They're going for that boost up the hill. Aluza, Siege, and Wu all doing the little boost there, trying to get them up, trying to help out. And we are seeing Lepo just being the only dear little T1 split off towards the flag, the rest all around the back. And because there's no initial spots, surely Kazna crew are going to cotton on to what are going to be getting up to. So I'm not sure how well this one's going to pan out. And what are we seeing so far from the Kazna crew, boys?
So Kazna crew all the way on the hill at the moment with his AMX 3090s. By the way, if anyone's wondering why the mods just disappeared, I've apparently broken it. I don't know how I've done it, but I've broken it. I think I was pressing some buttons and I don't know what I was pressing. So yeah, we won't be having that for this game.
Not very good at pressing the right buttons.
No, I'm very not indeed.
Very not English.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, back into the game. What are we seeing at the start?
We're seeing Dark Dawn and Still Mojo on the hill. As I was trying to explain before, Lauren was trying to be funny. Root is in the front as well. We were the one who was finding it funny. But Palauda's there in the middle trying to do some initial shots onto Skyrim. And the other one, he will actually connect that. Hyber gets one as well, down to 1-1-2-0. So both teams doing the initial damage, first shots coming out. But Skyrim's going to have to reverse because I think ultimately Kazna has the better positions.
Well, you say that. He kind of conned on a little bit late then, has to back away eventually on 836 HP. QQ now being at the forefront of the two T69s around that middle section. Trying to play a little bit safer now, but losing ground, as you mentioned. The other players split off down to that side of the hill. I think it was all three 3090s have actually made it there. Yes, they have indeed. And actually T69, excuse me, WoT is up there in that T69 as well. Siege and Loser splitting off towards that direction too. So a little bit of a 3-2 split. The other players obviously kind of spread out a bit more because they are those T1s. But now the more side, aka Playing Ducks, have been spotted. So still Mojo, and I believe it's Dark Dawn, noticing exactly where they are. So the little element of surprise has been negated now. And let's see if they can find a way through here to kind of jump back into this one. At the moment, fire now coming out. Doesn't manage to land towards Still Mojo. However, finally they have. So WoT down to 110, make it 883. Still Mojo stands tall on 1104. Now all even. A bit of back and forth between these two. At the moment though, Still Mojo does have the HP marker advantage. So if he can hold on to that, he's in a good position. Dark Dawn there backing him up as well. And they've just completely negated what more were doing with this hill push, trying to get into it. So I'm not sure really what they can bring into this one now.
I'm not sure exactly why Kazna crew are not just pushing off the hill and just obliterating Playing Ducks at this point, because they obviously know that most of Playing Duck is sitting around here with the MX-3090s, etc., etc. So if they have their tanks there and they don't have many tanks there, we can just go off the hill. We have the speed, we have the firepower, and we can just easily obliterate them, especially with the 4 T69s, just absolutely insane burst damage. So maybe a little bit of a poor decision making from Kazna crew, not ending the game as quickly as they could. But who am I to call them out on that one? So we see
Well,
just
considering
a bit,
you break mods.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened here. I pressed some buttons. I don't know. It's just gone bad. But yeah, it looks like Playing Ducks are going to come around as well. I think going towards the city and definitely going towards the cap is not a bad idea. Or just pushing a T69 that hill to join the MX-3090 is not such a thing to be complaining about. And it's definitely a tactic they've kind of inspired. You always see them doing it almost every single game, and I've never really seen it working out that well, even though it's quite clever, just because the other team knows exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. It's kind of common, because considering the amount of players they stacked into this position initially, they put 3 players there, right? And obviously they had to boost up, they had to get there, and then eventually the rest of the T69s went around the corner. As most normal teams do, there's normally that exchange of 3090s that kind of meet up, or maybe T69s that spot each other out just before the reload comes in. And because neither team, well, obviously Kazna crew did not spot more WoT then, they knew that they were up to something, they knew that they were going for that kind of beginning, so you know, it doesn't really help out when they give away the game they're going for that's dependent on surprise, essentially. So, yeah, not the ideal beginning for these guys. And we'll see how it goes. QQ and WoT now up in position. Scarring, the player who got initially damaged up, going back to where he laid. And now 5 minutes on the board. I don't know really what more WoT can do here. They've had their game unraveled. They're clearly going to a bit of a B plan, going to the backup situations. And looking for a way around. So, as we said, 1 T69 to the right, 2 into this central area. And then Siege and I believe it's a Loser in those 3090s down towards our village side. And I'm not sure how they can execute from here, though.
No, they've got a few options. Pretty much every option available to them. And I think ultimately what they're going to be thinking is they've got the speed advantage from the MX-3090, so they can get into the cap pretty rapidly. And Kazna crew maybe slightly slower with those T69s. That's exactly what they're doing. And Loser pushing forwards, probably trying to get behind. He's going to get spotted out by Leone playing the T1. Obviously, such a good T1 player. And this is more of just a decisive move from Playing Ducks. This is either going to be the killer or it's going to be the destroyer.
Solid statement. So we are seeing Paluda going low there, 857. Hyber has managed to take down Siege as the Loser is now all on his lonesome. Round the back, it was a great idea, but the execution has fallen by the wayside. Still, Mojo's found Scarin, and Kazna crew just stamping their authority right now. Those 2 T69s who did get boosted up, finally spring into action, but I feel as though it's too little too late. They have got around the back of Still Mojo, however, who's gone down fairly low, 2 of you. But you can see QQ's now in trouble. He's got 3 players on his heels. 1 man splits off. You can see Still Mojo and WoT just battling out against each other. QQ tries to get away from the situation in hand. WoT still chasing down Still Mojo, getting down that hill. Going to be looking to connect those shots. Does miss it, does not land it, and he needed that one in the bag. As the rest of Kazna crew now folding in. QQ waiting in the backside, just going to hold that crossfire. Hopefully get a couple of shells to connect. It's not working too well. Dark Dawn's there. He's got the connection. Rune's now just battling out with WoT, and we are seeing Kazna crew looking pretty damn good. And I've got to give them credit. More WoT saying, sorry for playing so bad today. I don't know. But Kazna Crew, strong victory there. Io, the last man alive, he is in the T1, just battling out the Cobra Leone. There is no way out of this now. The cap will be underway, so GG's all around. But today, it was Kazna Crew's day, and more WoT, aka the newly titled Playing Ducks, barely making a scratch into this one. And they seemed disappointed in themselves, really, more than anything. They didn't have the game they wanted. They didn't have the start they wanted. And that's certainly not the end they wanted. So Kazna Crew will be picking this one up. So congratulations to them in a 4-1 victory, looking extremely strong. So starting today in 8th position, certainly going to be moving up after that performance, taking down the 3rd spot of Playing Ducks. I cannot say a bad word about it, but credit to, more WoT or Playing Ducks there. They're a little bit disappointed in themselves, and they even said sorry for playing badly.
Yeah, and I think that's the inexperience of the team compared to Kazna Crew. Kazna Crew's a lot older, and obviously having played Season 1, a lot more experienced. And that's the difference between those two. If Kazna Crew have a bad day, they can still perform.
Yep.
While Playing Ducks, if they have a bad day, they just have a bad day, full stop.
Yeah. Well, we saw it there. It was Kazna Crew's game to be had, and, well, they had it. So, don't know how many of you guys got it home, got it right at home. I was going to say a 4-1, but I genuinely thought more WoT would do a little bit more then. I genuinely thought they'd do a little bit better. Considering they're in 3rd position, I thought I'd see a little bit more from them. So I don't think my heart said 4-1, but my head was saying no. That's not the way it's going to go down. Surely not. These guys, they've got more to bring here, but it wasn't the day. Anyway, let's reintroduce you to the lovely lady herself, who's been dying not so quietly in the corner today. The one, the only Melly, to give us an update on how you guys have done with the social media and who's got any questions, how the predictions went, because it's a hard one to have. So hopefully Facebook is working. We'll find out. So Melly, how are we doing?
My Facebook page is blank.
Yay! Facebook!
But, it's working. Give me a second. I might find it out right now. But I think it was pretty close. Wait for it. 21st century. Still
That
nothing
laptop
working.
is pretty bad, to be fair.
But, yeah, whatever. Let's wait for it to load up. In the meantime, we have Playing Ducks, more like sitting ducks.
Wow.
Well played to Kazna Crew.
Nice.
Wow.
A nice
And,
quote.
okay, look, I'm getting mocked by D-Man about our bad puns, and that exists in the world,
Exactly.
all right? I've only used, like, the flying V from Mighty Ducks, sink or swim, something along those lines. That's fairly relatable until I found out that ducks can't actually sink. So,
They
my puns
can
haven't been
sink
that
if
bad.
they don't
Sorry,
put
excuse
oil
me,
on
I'm
them.
sorry. All right.
God. What's wrong with you?
I'm not up on my duck facts. I need to kind of, research more, but still, my puns we haven't been that bad today.
No, not
And
too bad.
things like that coming out, and, that better not get rewarded. No.
In the meantime, we have a question.
Oh, Jesus.
No, it's not.
If it's
Stressed
avian related, I'm not answering it.
What? It's
If it's
anything
avian related, I'm not answering it.
avian.
But birds, sorry. Birds related.
Avian?
Yeah.
What is avian?
Aviation,
I'm so
it's about
happy right
birds.
now that I'm not the only one not
Avian.
knowing that
Our
word.
producer knows about birds. I don't know why you don't.
Evian. I thought it was like a bottle of water related. Like, I'm a really big fan of Evian water.
I'm good with.
Top
I'm
stuff.
good. I'm
Move
good.
over,
I'm good with,
Volvic.
I'm good with my
Awesome.
birds, so you should know that.
So you didn't say that.
Bad puns.
Oh wow. And
I love
and
casting
I'm the
with you
one
girls.
with the fever here. Yeah.
I've got
Is-
bird flu. I tell you that again.
Because
Okay, I'm
that's because of the
leaving.
type of birds you get with, so,
Oh, damn.
This is
Back to the questions.
Damn.
Back to the questions.
I'm
back to
sinking
the
right now.
I can't work under the circumstances, not in this condition. No, we have a really nice drawing of a tiger. Thank you for that. You definitely get a bonus code. And is there any plan to bring back artillery to the game to make it worth picking? You know something about that, Ollie?
Inside info?
I heard rumors and goings on, and apparently 8.9 is or 9.0 is where wargaming could possibly buff tier 4 to tier 7 artillery, which does include that Sturmpanzer 2. So it could be in that range. I think a lot of people think below tier 7, below tier 8 is a little bit overnerfed in terms of artillery. So we could be seeing the GV Panther, the
that'd
Sturmpanzer
be quite
2,
nice to
the
see it
Grill
back in.
all come back in again throughout this season.
Okay, we see in the comment section that a lot of people voted for Kazna Crew, so they were pretty sure that Kazna will make it with a pretty clear ending. Since I was outside, I'm not really sure how this game ended. Could you give me an update?
No.
It just ran in the very last second.
No, it's Kazna Crew. They won it 4-1.
4-1.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
impressive scoreline. They kind of won it surprisingly heavily. Like, I didn't expect a 4-1 victory. Like, my heart kind of said no way. My head was like, no, it's a bit of a close game. Like, I kind of thought maybe, but not in that kind of extent. Like, Kazna Crew looked really strong.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a 3-2 at least.
Yeah,
I mean, Kazna Crew were the favourite to come out on top because of their previous results, but I think it would have been a 3-2.
I managed to bring up the results, and they were indeed favored. So the community at home were pretty sure that Kazna Crew will make it over Plain Ducks with 79%.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty clear ending of the vote, which I managed to bring up on my really new-aged PC.
Shh,
Well done, man.
So, and a little hint for you guys at home. I know Facebook implemented that you can edit your comments at the after you post something, but I see that you edited them.
Wow,
so
sneaky
you're
ninjas.
Not exactly. You're not getting in the pot. Sorry.
Wow.
So whatever. That's the update from the social media front. No more tweets so far. No more questions so far. Yeah. Thank you very much for getting involved, being a part of our show. Keep up the good work, and that's all from me.
Alrighty then. So Melly can now go die in peace, is what we're basically saying. She's allowed to leave now. We've allowed the ambulance crew in, and they can cart her out. So do not worry. You might hear coughing slowly subside in the room. But anyway, so we've had a great match day. We've watched the two giants going head to head. We've seen the Dignitas are looking hungry this season. They look extremely good. And WoT Pro barely caused any damage then. That was a real game to watch back on the VOD. So make sure you go over to the WoTProLeague.com site. Check them out as soon as they are up, because that was an insane one. The moments that came from that, Apple Wows, just Himmelsdorf in general, everything needs to be rewatched there, because I know what I'm going to be doing after, I get back home. I'm going to watch that one back as soon as they're available, because it's pretty damn cool. So, and the second game wasn't bad either. I think it's just showing that, obviously, the ranking at the moment, it may not display completely how the season's evolving, because, Playing Ducks were in third place, Kazna Crew were down in 8th, but Kazna Crew stepped it up. And you're seeing those teams now building into this season, getting, the real strength beside them.
I think they're just going to continue getting better. I mean, credit to Playing Ducks. They admitted that they didn't do so well this season. And for a team like that, where they are so passionate, that's just going to make them stronger. It
is. A little bit of humble nature to them will hopefully get them back on track and, say, okay, guys, we didn't do so well there. Let's work on it for the next couple of play days and get ourselves back on that standard that we know we can play to. Because they are an extremely talented bunch. But anyway, guys, my thoughts aside, I do need to remind you of the fact that I will not be here on the next play day, which is on the 3rd of the 10th. Calm down on the clapping and the cheer.
Yes. To be fair, you're being replaced by Steven, so it's kind of a sweet victory and sour victory, I don't know. Sweet and sour victory, I say.
Sweet and sour chicken. All right, thank you, Melly. All right, so yes, I will not be here for the next play day, and I will be replaced by Snee, aka Steven, if you want to call him that. If you did watch the start of Season 2 before I came into it, and started Season 1, he was your man there. So if you are well aware of who he is, he'll be coming back in for 1 day and 1 day only. It's like a special offer. I don't know if it's like when they go out of date and you put them on the little special label. I think that's the closest way we can call it. But anyway, he will be joining you guys for the next play day. So make sure you're kind to him. Make sure you show him some love. Give him some Hodors, because he does look a little bit like Hodor. So give him a little bit of that abuse. Hey, look, I got to be mean, because I know he'll be mean next play day. I'll be watching. I'll be out in LA, and I'll be like, okay, let me check out the WoT Pro League right now. He's just going to be insulting me the whole time.
Yeah.
I know it. I can sense it.
You started it. You don't know what you've gotten yourself into.
Oh, Lord. So, guys at home, make sure you give him a warm welcome when he does come on to the next Playday, which, as I said, will be on the 3rd of the 10th. It will be Playday 8, I do believe. So that's going to be an incredible one. I do believe I can actually tell you one of the teams that we'll be seeing, or at least one of the games, it will be Denova against WoT Pro. So something you want to be watching. Denova always hot on the heels of WoT Pro, and WoT Pro look a little bit human this season. They've shown their human side. They can bleed real blood. So, guys, that's certainly going to be something to watch. So make sure you follow this Twitch page, follow the Twitters, @TheyCallMePansy, @LaughterWoT, and obviously the WoT Pro League as well. And you'll get up to date with all the recent updates, all the results, and obviously when we go back live. So make sure you tune back in at the same time, well, on the 3rd of the 10th with a very different person in my place. So, guys, hopefully see you after that.